So I am what Russ hopefully lovingly refers to as a fake architect, because I'm a systems architect, not one of these architects. I just wanted to say I'm excited about ALN for three key words. One is the L in ALN is about the most important thing here, which is leadership. And you saw both with Gary as well as with Russ, and I'm sitting here with Phil, and you saw, some of you saw Andy Schoenbach, who's our boss at OMB yesterday. Leadership matters, and any organization who's willing to get together people and help develop that leadership must be supported. You know, we don't know whether this organization is going to be super successful or just semi-successful. Even if it's just semi-successful, and we change a few minds and some leaders to create another Russ or another Phil or another Gary because of it, it's done its job, right? Because what they pulled off in the last few years is exceptionally difficult. Working as a contractor in a variety of different federal organizations, I do not run across very many big thinkers that are willing to think big, not just for themselves, but in that shared model that Russ put so well, right? To build it once and share it amongst many. So if there's anything that we can do to say to organization leaders, think beyond yourself, you win, right? And so if ALN does just that job alone, it's basically made its money and proven its worth. The second thing is about vision. So if you got the right leaders, that vision now matters. And you say to yourself, well, what is that vision and where is it going to come from? If we can say, and you know, just sitting next to Phil here, who's been promoting shared services in government for longer than I've been in government, is a big deal. So having the right leaders is one thing. Now, if that leadership has the right shared vision, and like Russ said about Mr. Becker, that vision is so big, but he's willing to share it with everyone. It's not about him winning, or Russ winning, or Phil winning, or Gary winning. It's about everybody winning together. And then that last piece is the winning. What does that mean? Winning means impact. And that's what Jim's been espousing at our table here is ALN is about impact. It's about impact. It's about impact. What the heck does that mean? Well, impact can only mean something if it probably happens during the tenure that you're there, right? There's a lot of things that we can do that benefit from sharing things, but sometimes they take so long that we never get to see the fruits of those rewards. But the good news is you've got people here who have shown the leadership, established the vision, but did the most important thing, and that is pick some very, very small wins with high impact and see it happen while they are there, so they can begin that ball to rolling and get bigger and bigger while they are there, so that when they leave, the eventual time is everybody's going to leave their particular post. What happens when they're gone? And so I was just giving some examples of our leadership. Andy Schoenbach at Max.gov is about ready to leave. But none of us are worried at all, right? Because he's established the capabilities, the connections have been made by everybody, leadership has been decided in particular ways, the vision has been shared. It's not just a unique individual vision, but the vision has been shared, and now we know that that impact is going to continue. So just from a closing remarks point of view, when you look at what can I do when I leave here today? So if you think about that leadership and what the vision here is of ALN and what the impact you're trying to draw, look at what's available already, just what you saw yesterday, today, and hopefully you're going to see tomorrow, and there's going to be some meetings on Friday about how do we take this forward. We, on the Mac side, started about 7-8 years ago with this small idea of a line of business for X number of people. It was 3 or 4 that grew to 10, that grew to 15, that grew to 20 within government, to say, we have the shared leadership, shared vision, and we want impact. 7 years later, 150,000 users, dozens of applications, all made available in a shared services approach, has been a big deal. So the Max team has pulled off what I think, if ALN can keep moving and focus on leadership, can do so as well. So what can you do tonight? There are systems that are available today that weren't available 6 months ago that you can use for free, you can use in your agency. So things like shared authentication, share places where you can do just silly stuff like share files, right? I mean, it just seems like so mundane, but it's so important. It's workspaces where you can work together and share ideas. Workspaces where you can come together, collect data, analyze it, and present it back to your leadership, back to your teams, and things like that. So from our perspective, we are just thrilled to support, obviously, the vision of Russ and Gary and these guys at DHA and VA, but more importantly, we're hoping that it goes beyond government. And so we were just, Phil and I were at GovLoop. How many of you know what GovLoop is? Some of you. So GovLoop is an online, kind of like a social, professional social site where people within and around government connect and work with each other. They're one of the first groups that are not government, but are using a shared service from the government known as Max Authentication to authenticate those government users. Because if government users are connecting, they might as well use a government authentication system. So that is one simple example. There are dozens of other examples of commercial, quasi-government, government, and partnered approaches to using what already exists. So the modern government today is not the government of 10, 15 years ago. They want to work together. They have created these environments. So what we're hoping is that ALN, with its leadership and focus on impact, can start to catalog these successes, start to share and say that it is possible to do all of this. Because only when we all agree that it's possible will we go beyond the dinners and the drinks and the social settings, etc., to say, let's go make something happen on next Monday that we didn't have the last Monday. And then what do we do the next month and the next month in these very, very small bite-sized cookie chunks, as Russ said it. So if there's anything that you guys need from us on the Mac side, grab our cards. We're happy to help. And of course, Kimon, one of our biggest cheerleaders here, knows us pretty well. And if there's anything that you need, you can also pass it through him and he'll get it to us. But I want to thank Jim and the ALN for inviting us. And having, you guys don't know how big of a deal it is to have somebody sitting here from OMB for this long. This is important. That's why he's here. Yesterday, Andy was here. And so what we're doing here is important if we can build leadership, vision, and get the impact. With that, I'll turn it back over to Jim and we'll close out the next.